What if you woke up tomorrow and your life savings were gone? Not stolen, not lost in a bad investment, but simply vanished from your bank account. This isn't a scene from a disaster movie. This is a very real possibility that experts are now warning about. They're pointing to a specific year, 2026. By then, they say a chain of events could trigger a global bank run, making the 2008 crisis look like a minor tremor. What you're about to hear might be unsettling, but ignoring it could cost you everything. Your money, your security, your future, it's all on the line. You need to understand what's coming, and you need to understand it now before the panic sets in and the doors to the banks slam shut for good. To understand where we're going, we have to look back. History doesn't just repeat itself. It rhymes. Think back to the Great Depression in 1929, the Roaring Twenties. A decade of excess and easy credit came to a sudden, catastrophic end. People who thought they were rich overnight became destitute. Banks that seemed indestructible collapsed one by one. Now, fast forward to 2008. The housing bubble, fueled by reckless lending and complex financial instruments nobody truly understood, burst. Once again, the global economy was brought to its knees. Families lost their homes, and major banks had to be bailed out with taxpayer money. Look at the patterns. Decades of prosperity built on mountains of debt, followed by a sudden, brutal correction. It happened in 1929, it happened in 2008, and the signs are all here, pointing to it happening again. But this chimney, the scale could be unimaginably larger. We are living through another period of historic debt and artificial prosperity, and the echoes of the past are getting louder every single day. So who's pulling the strings? It's not one single villain, but a system designed for a specific outcome. At the center of it all are the central banks and government policies. Since 2008, the solution to every problem has been the same: print more money. To fight the financial crisis, they printed trillions. To fight the pandemic downturn, they printed even more. This isn't wealth creation, it's debt creation. Every new dollar printed devalues the money in your pocket and in your savings account. This is the silent tax we all pay called inflation. Food, gas, housing everys gets more expensive. Your salary might go up, but your purchasing power goes down. You're working harder just to stay in the same place. This is the trap. They tell you inflation is a small, manageable number, maybe 2 or 3%, but look at your own bills. The reality is much starker. Meanwhile, interest rates have been kept artificially low for years, punishing savers and encouraging massive borrowing from corporations to governments. The total global debt has now ballooned to over $300 trillion. This is a house of cards, and the foundation is getting weaker by the day. This system transfers wealth from the average person to the very top. While your savings are being eaten away by inflation, those with hard assets, real estate, stocks, precious metals see their net worth soar. It's a deliberate, calculated transfer of wealth, and we are on the losing end. They are setting the stage for a great reset where they can introduce new systems of control, like central bank digital currencies or CB. Imagine a world where every single transaction you make is tracked, monitored, and potentially even restricted by a central authority. That's the ultimate goal. And the coming crisis is the perfect excuse to implement it. They will promise safety and security in exchange for your financial freedom. Every fragile system has a breaking point, a single trigger that can cause the entire structure to collapse. So what is the trigger for 2026? It could come from anywhere. A new geopolitical conflict could erupt, disrupting global supply chains and sending energy prices into the stratosphere. Think about a major escalation in Eastern Europe or a new flashpoint in the Pacific. This would shatter the already fragile global economy. Or the trigger could be a policy change. Imagine the Federal Reserve, in a desperate attempt to fight runaway inflation, hikes interest rates too far, too fast. The massive corporate and government debt bubble would instantly pop. Companies that have only survived because of cheap loans would go bankrupt overnight, leading to mass layoffs. This isn't speculation. It's a matter of when, not if. The tension is building. The system is stretched to its absolute limit. All it takes is one single push, one unexpected event, and the dominoes will begin to fall. The markets will panic. People will rush to pull their money out of the banks. But there's a catch. The money isn't there. Banks only hold a tiny fraction of deposits in cash. This is called fractional reserve banking. A widespread loss of confidence will trigger a bank run, and it will spread like wildfire across the globe in a matter of hours, thanks to our interconnected digital world. By the time you hear about it on the news, it will already be too late. This sounds terrifying, and it is. But panic is not a strategy. Hope is not a plan. The key is preparation. The storm is coming, but you can build a financial ark. First, understand that your bank account is not a vault. It's a loan to the bank. You need to reduce your exposure. This doesn't mean pulling every dollar out and hiding it under your mattress, but you should have a reasonable amount of physical cash in a safe place for emergencies. Enough to cover your expenses for at least a few weeks or a month. Second, you need to own real things. Things that can't be printed out of thin air. Hard assets have historically been a store of value during times of crisis. This could include physical precious metals like gold and silver, which have been money for thousands of years. It could mean investing in productive land or real estate, provided you aren't overly. The goal is to diversify out of the fiat currency system that is designed to fail. Third, build skills. In a real crisis, your ability to provide a valuable service could be your greatest asset. Learn a trade, start a side business, become more self. The more you can do for yourself and your community, the less you will depend on a failing system. This is not about fear. It is about empowerment. It is about taking control of your financial destiny instead of leaving it in the hands of the very people who created the problem. The next few years will be turbulent, but for those who are prepared, they will also present incredible opportunities. The world is changing, and you can either be a victim of that change or you can position yourself to thrive. So let me ask you this. What is the one step you will take this week to make your financial future more secure? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.